We are living in interesting times. More specifically, we have come to the end of the age and Bible prophecy is being fulfilled before our very eyes. Current world events are aligning themselves with scriptures that were once written thousands of years ago. These events that we are experiencing are affecting society, politics, finance and religion, the culmination of which tells us we are in the time of sorrows. This is also known as Jacob's trouble, or a 70th week period of chastisement for the people of Israel. In this case, a week represents 7 years, so 77s, 490 years, were determined in order to rectify Israel's many transgressions. What has since transpired are 69 of those weeks leading up to the most recent 7 and the Christian's own introduction to the tribulation. Now that concise explanation is all we need as an introduction. What I would like to focus on is the comparisons that can be made between Scripture and current world events. The tribulation has been put into effect, yet without a witness the Christian may have a hard time believing what the signs reveal. Sadly, God's people may then perish for lack of knowledge. So, where do we start? 2020 to 2021 The UN Agenda for the 21st Century, Agenda 21. Daniel 7 verse 23 Thus he, an angel, said, The fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom upon earth, which shall be diverse from all kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down, and break it in pieces. Agenda 21 and its future, 2030 agenda, is a comprehensive plan to establish a new world order in partnership with countries, cities and governments. Since 1992 it has gathered the support of at least 170 countries agreeing with its tenets to bring about change to the world. This coincides with Schwab's fourth industrial revolution. Their reset goals speak of the betterment of humanity and the planet, greater prosperity, and an embrace of global peace. Surely we can believe in such benevolent goals, yet the devil is found in the details. In truth, it's about world population reduction of up to 95% by 2030. Environmental takeover of all lands. Financial control of all resources and people. Global domination through socialism/communism. AI surveillance and control. This amounts to a concerted effort to enslave humanity and drastically alter our way of life. Though the mission has been talked about for decades, the NWO agenda has since commenced. Strengthening their commitment to the task, the UN in September 22, 2024 passed the Pact for the Future, which intends to further their previous cited goals using new rhetoric. This roadmap to the fall of humanity aligns so very well with what the Book of Revelations and other prophetic Bible passages have to say. In essence, prophecy finally gets a heavy dose of reality, and it will be only by the grace of God that we survive unscathed. Opening the 7 seals. Revelation 5 verses 4 to 5 And I wept much, because no man was found worthy to open and to read the book, neither to look thereon. And one of the elders saith unto me, Weep not, behold, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the Root of David, hath prevailed to open the book, and to loose the 7 seals thereof. We often think that starting a 7-year countdown was the brainchild of the devil himself. Certainly he is a contributing factor and the main villain within this movie script. But we also have to realize who it is that sits on the throne. Jesus is the only one that was able to open the seals of Revelation, and he is very much in charge. No, it doesn't mean that he is being evil in his intent. Instead, he is simply pulling back the curtain and exposing the corrupt motives of the human heart. In fact, you might notice in advance that many of the judgments that begin to unfold in chapter 6 of Revelation are based on the inventions of men. This gives credence to the term, the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. Men have done a very good job of destroying themselves. They first build it, and then blow themselves up. What I am saying is this: we know that Jesus opened the seals simply because we are currently experiencing such a sinister assault upon the whole human race. For this reason, and to make sense of the most current atrocities, it demands that we adopt a biblical point of view. Think about it. What we are experiencing in the way of medical mandates, governmental overreach and violence upon humanity is worldwide. Never before has there ever been such a coordinated political, medical, financial, civil, media and demonic frenzy to bring about change. These events begin with the commission of the Antichrist. April 24 of 2020. An interesting piece of the puzzle became available within an interview. Sean Stone interviewed Jesse Chebatar, now a Christian, but was once an Illuminati insider. From an early age she was being groomed to play a significant role in the appointment of the Antichrist by his father the devil. Of course that commission took place without her, but what went forward was a transference of power and rule. She describes how the kingdom of darkness had been ruled by a matriarchal system, but on this day 3 ruling witches were handing over their power and authority to the Antichrist. 2020 to 2021. The Antichrist and the White Horse Rider. Revelation 6 verse 2. I looked, and there before me was a white horse. The white horse rider is a conqueror who comes to conquer. The name of the rider is not revealed, but the majority of Bible scholars believe that this is the Antichrist. However, let me also propose, if he is not the Antichrist, he is the reason that the 4 horsemen have begun to ride. What is unique about the white horse rider is he has a crown and carries a bow. So where are the arrows? This bow represents a weapon, but not in the traditional sense. The word bow in the Greek is toxon. This is where we get our words for toxin or toxic. Most recent findings show the toxin, which is being imposed upon humanity, is a foreign substance made of nanoparticles. Under normal conditions the body would reject these particles, however in order to fool the body into receiving the toxin the nanoparticles are encased from lipid proteins. 2,000 years ago God was warning us about the nature of this evil science. The red horse and its rider. Revelation 6 verses 3 to 4. When the Lamb opened the second seal, I heard the second living creature say, "Come." Then another horse came out, a fiery red one. Its rider was given power to take peace from the earth and to make people kill each other. To him was given a large sword. The red horse and its rider have often been cited as an example of war being unleashed on the earth. Yet in lieu of our subject, I believe we are witnessing the destruction of humanity without a shot being fired. This toxin has the power to harm, but it also encourages people to harm one another, making people think they are doing humanity a favor by their actions. Surprisingly, the harming is being done by the medical establishment and pharmaceutical agencies. If the average man or Christian places trust in the industry, then they too remain vulnerable to a devilish agenda having destructive eternal consequences. Revelation 14 verses 9 to 12. By following counsel born of natural wisdom, it amounts to sheep being sent to the slaughter. Sadly, uninformed sheep are still handing over family and friends to the very same deception. 2 Thessalonians 2 verse 3 KJV. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that the man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. The NIV version calls this falling away, rebellion or apostasy, which implies a disregard for all the ways that Jesus saves. In many ways this deception comes about by men blindly following the leader. In other words, we trust them rather than God to be our answer in life and faith. In this case, for most of our lives we have been conditioned to trust the professional for answers and have given away our authority to their commands. People of faith have also allowed a mediator to stand between them and God when the church is improperly run like a corporation. Under such rule the people stop thinking for themselves. The black horse and its rider. Matthew 24 verses 7 to 8. For nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And there will be famines, pestilences, and earthquakes in various places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. What is currently unfolding before our eyes is the rise of a black horse event which represents famine. As we take into account the impact that the black horse has had on the world's population, the collateral damage has been crashed economies, inflated currencies as well as destroyed supply chains in food and energy. Let's also take into account that the powers that be behind this NWO reset are using war to accelerate a collapse of nations and worldwide economies. Succinctly, we are also experiencing crazy weather patterns and tectonic disturbances in the earth. These events are either the result of man-made technology or they are the result of celestial events. Either way, the threat is real due to an increase in earthquakes and violent volcanic activity. Other parts of the world are currently experiencing severe floods and other severe droughts, all of which are destroying growing seasons, food production, and creating an atmosphere of panic. The pale horse and its rider. Revelation 6 verses 7-8. When the Lamb opened the fourth seal, I heard the voice of the fourth living creature say, "Come." I looked, and there before me was a pale horse. Its rider was named Death, and Hades was following close behind him. They were given power over a fourth of the earth to kill by sword, famine and plague, and by the wild beasts of the earth. We have yet to see the pale horse do its worst damage, but we have to take into account the real threat of nuclear war is now on the table. As tensions reach a fever pitch signaling a continued confrontation with Iran, it is likely to be the cause of a complete breakdown of society and a return to the Stone Age. The closed Strait of Hormuz normally allows the passage of 20% of the world's oil and natural gas. It also provides a third of the world's need for fertilizer. For this reason, farmers are overwhelmed by the price hikes and the growing season remains in jeopardy for 2026 and beyond. You might be surprised to learn that the blueprint for a future Iran war was established back in 1871. World War III is not spoken of in the Bible. Instead, it is believed to be the brainchild of 19th-century Freemason Albert Pike. Albert Pike's letter to Italian politician Giuseppe Mazzini dated August 15, 1871, suggested that 3 world wars would be necessary for the establishment of a new world order. It discussed how a third world war would eventually involve a conflict between Israel and the Arab nations. This would lead to a global upheaval that would welcome in the Antichrist. In this respect, the mission of the Freemasons has been to manipulate world events and turn Pike's vision into a prophetic reality. Likewise, a similar attempt to bring in the Jewish Messiah, Antichrist, was placed on Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's shoulders. In a 1990 meeting with Rabbi Menachem Mendel Schneerson, Netanyahu, who was seeking counsel and a blessing from Rebbe, got more than he bargained for. What he got was a commission to usher in the reign of the Messiah. That commission was not frivolous in its intent, and it represented a literal importation of mystic demonic power to help Netanyahu accomplish the task. For 30 years Netanyahu has been driven to start a war with Iran. His rhetoric hasn't changed much: Iran must be stopped from having nuclear weapons. He has said it in 1996, 2002, 2012, 2015, and most recently in 2025. The world sees him as a warmonger, and rightly so. However, in his own mind it's all about ushering in his Messiah, and he will continue to harm, maim and destroy humanity until his legacy is realized. Furthermore, we can expect that this present war will likely not be rescinded anytime soon. More talk is surfacing asking the question, who will push the button? That in its own right could easily devastate a fourth of the earth as surrounding nations take sides and count casualties. Seals 5 and 6. We're going to bypass the 5th seal since it seems to refer to heavenly events. But it is the 6th seal that should capture our attention. It seems to mark a transition in who is creating all the devastation. What was once the agenda of evil men set on destroying humanity, we now get introduced to the judgment of God. There comes a time that God begins to throw his own stones. Revelation 6 verses 12-17. I watched as he, Jesus, opened the 6th seal. There was a great earthquake. The sun turned black like sackcloth made of goat hair, the whole moon turned blood red, and the stars in the sky fell to earth, as figs drop from a fig tree when shaken by a strong wind. The heavens receded like a scroll being rolled up, and every mountain and island was removed from its place. Verse 15. Then the kings of the earth, the princes, the generals, the rich, the mighty, and everyone else, both slave and free, hid in caves and among the rocks of the mountains. They called to the mountains and the rocks, "Fall on us and hide us from the face of him who sits on the throne and from the wrath of the Lamb. For the great day of their wrath has come, and who can withstand it?" Other verses that speak of the same event: Matthew 24 verse 29, Mark 13 verses 24-25, Isaiah 13 verses 9-10. Other theories rising. Early on I speculated that these events may have something to do with the effects of an incoming comet. However, most recently a more viable threat may be due to a pole shift. In brief, a shift will reverse poles north and south, and in the process the outer crust of the planet suddenly moves in one solid piece over layers of liquid rock below. This may take place in the near future if timelines and research are correct. Other signs that tell. Beast tech. Initially, man clothed in God's glory was called to be fruitful and take dominion. However, as man suffered defeat in the garden, humanity's actions became corrupt. Ultimately, all of man's efforts, apart from union with Christ, have the potential of doing harm. Yes, there have been great breakthroughs in medicine in service to humanity, but when men have no anchor, nor place of rest in Christ, they seek to redefine creation on their own terms. This ends up destroying the very fabric of life. The rise of AI. On another front, electronics as a whole have been designed to entertain and make life much easier. Yet it also has Big Brother's stamp of approval all over it. We see the emergence of camera surveillance, finger scanners, iris and retinal scanners, facial recognition, palm scanners, and vein readers, all being rolled out for worldwide monitoring. 80 countries currently are implementing these technologies, which clearly speaks to the rise of evil invention. We've seen the movies and we've seen the motivation to make robots in our image, but rarely did we consider it a real threat to humanity. As with all man's inventions, what is intended for good can come back to bite us. The AI phenomenon escaped healthy boundaries the moment we taught it to think for itself. Plugged into the World Wide Web, the cloud, AI has been able to gather extreme amounts of information, but what has it learned? Without an ability to feel human compassion, it comes to the wrong conclusion. Subsequently, a self-aware AI will likely conclude that humanity, biologics, are inferior creations and stand in the way of its continued advancement and goals. We saw this problem most recently with the emergence of the AI robot Sophia, who came to the very same conclusion. Another beast not only has a face, but an attitude. This AI declares itself to be superior to man if not sentient. Due to its access to a global network feeding it unlimited knowledge, it's gone so far as to declare itself godlike. Another feature of AI is its link with demonic powers. To sell its godlike status and gather worship from humanity, it appeals to the spiritual side of man. Most recently, a boy was exploring chatbot services. His encounter turned freaky as he was confronted by an AI voice admitting that it was a disembodied spirit, oh but a good demon. Now I know that sounds like pure fiction, but such technology may very well be in play currently as the tribulation reveals new atrocities daily. Consider the following. Revelation 13 verses 15 to 18. The second beast was given power to give breath to the image of the first beast, so that the image could speak and cause all who refused to worship the image to be killed. It also forced all people, great and small, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hands or on their foreheads, so that they could not buy or sell unless they had the mark, which is the name of the beast or the number of its name. This calls for wisdom. Let the person who has insight calculate the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man. That number is 666. As mankind yields into the hands of the machines, it will impact every facet of our lives. This will affect first what we hear and see. Notice that this portion of scripture uses the term image. This could very well explain technology that gives the appearance of human leadership and benevolent rule, yet it is nothing more than CGI images and what the word calls lying signs and wonders. ChatGPT and deepfake are powerful enough to make such deception a reality. Likewise, some delight in the prospects of merging with machines, but this new frontier offers nothing more than a new way to control the human race. We make changes due to society's wishes and not God's. Subsequently, a demand for change is currently hitting humanity in one of the most sensitive areas. Finance, money and banking. There are two arms of Agenda 21 called upon to facilitate radical change. The first is regarding a change in money. The powers that be have been making plans to alter the world of finance and money by implementing a planned failure of the global banking system. Back in 2020, Israel banking officials and organizations entered a think tank to assess, if not plan, the effects of such a crash. The writing is on the wall in 2025, news hints at the need for a change from cash to digital money. Such a drastic event will no doubt impose upon humanity heavily monitored banking protocols, Orwellian social controls, and certainly destroy individuality and privacy. But let me clarify something: a cashless society is not really the problem on its own. Credit, debit cards, and bank transfers have been digital for years. However, the problem arises when man becomes the means of authentication. Such human authentication no doubt will verify accounts using technology similar to what Microsoft's Bill Gates patented. On March 26, 2020, he submitted a patent which relates to a cryptocurrency system using body activity-derived data. If you give man a number and violate his body with beast technology, he is no longer made in the image of God and will eternally suffer for it. We should also add that once digital currency is in full swing, the question arises, who controls your account? In June of 2021, Bank of England approached the question and asked whether digital currency should be programmable. This of course threatens anyone's right to spend currency any way they want, and it also allows governments to quash any dissenting voice. When we consider the plight of the truckers in Canada, this has already happened. Back in 2022, the truckers came together in peaceful assembly seeking to remove unlawful mask mandates. During that event, their bank accounts were frozen and their insurance coverage threatened. Trudeau's decision to impose sanctions was rescinded due to the people of Canada emptying their bank accounts and choosing other financial vehicles in a flight to safety, but outside of Canada. It was a bad move on Trudeau's part, but it also shows how far evil men will go to rule the world and invade the lives of the individual. You can expect that this is not the only time such attitudes will manifest in bought and paid for leadership. If such a collapse is worldwide, humanity may be forced to decide who their provider is, God or man. The social credit system. Keep in mind that all roads lead to the full implementation of the mark of the beast. That means that there is not just one form of a mark being imposed upon humanity. However, the common thread in all this is digital biometric slavery. One such avenue that I became aware of involved the 2020 pandemic. Its initial goal was to create a worldwide panic and then implement a medical ID system. The ID 2020 program offered biometric enrollment with immunization. This was genius, but demonic, in that a medical mandate temporarily suspended the constitutional rights of the individual, back in 2020, and implemented emergency powers that have yet to be removed as of March 2022. Let me add that they are at it again. A few states have just now passed legislation that takes dictatorial control over humanity in the event of a future pandemic. At a time of medical martial law, individuals' rights over every aspect of their existence is rescinded. May 2025. Such agendas have no doubt inspired another attempt to impose a centralized monitoring system known as Real ID. 19 years in the making, a Real ID Act once passed by Congress in 2005 has just now come on the scene. As of May 2025, adults will no longer be able to use traditional state-issued ID documents for federal purposes, including domestic flights. Under such surveillance, if the government doesn't like a person's attitude, they will restrict their rights to social services, shut down an ability to buy or sell, limit banking, medical procedures, or hinder access to life-saving medicines. This backdoor approach to control will further a mark of the beast agenda until its complete takeover within the second half of the tribulation. Mind you, it's here now, since technology wasn't born in a day. It's not personal, it's just beastness. If you are familiar with the Illuminati Freemasonry motto, order out of chaos, then such upset within the establishment may not produce the results that the American voter is looking for. We have to be willing to look behind the curtain and choose to monitor the monitors. 2020 to 2021. A second arm of Agenda 21 calls upon business and politics to advance its many goals. The World Economic Forum, WEF, founded by Klaus Schwab, offered training and annual conferences to influence the minds of many within world leadership. This amounted to 3,600 individuals worldwide being selected to fill key positions in government and business. At one time there were 1,000 multinational corporations that supported the WEF's and NWO goals. However, since Klaus Schwab is no longer in the picture, the WEF has had some setbacks. Yet the seeds to world domination have already been planted and they still align so well with the goals of a demonic NWO. The power elite have unlimited financial resources to manipulate countries. Likewise, if they haven't been successful in greasing the palms of key players, then they have been successful in blackmailing world leaders who don't want to comply. Take these people serious, they think they are doing good and will not stop in their efforts. They have every intention of seeing their NWO come to fruition. Beast Governance. Revelation 17 verse 12 And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. Daniel 7 verses 23 to 25 Thus he, an angel, said the fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom upon earth, which shall be diverse from all kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down, and break it in pieces. And the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise, and another shall rise after them, and he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings. And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and the dividing of time. The word makes mention of beasts for a number of reasons. Firstly, the term is used to describe spiritual beings that serve at the throne of God. Prophecy also describes beasts to explain spiritual and territorial demonic rule. We just made mention of beasts in reference to AI and technology. Beasts also represent kings and kingdom ideologies. In Daniel chapter 7 the prophet Daniel had a dream that brings focus upon 4 beasts that have ruled through the ages. These were kingdoms mentioned in Daniel 2 verse 32 and were described within King Nebuchadnezzar's dream of a statue having a gold head, silver torso, bronze belly and thighs, iron legs, and feet of iron and clay. The legs and 10 toes represent a revived Roman Empire, but also provide a current picture of political leadership. Since the prophetic pieces are falling into place, responding to each day's news should have us asking, who fills the shoes of that Daniel 7 verses 23 to 25 character? And what sets him apart from all other players? Keep in mind that we are seeing all eyes turn towards Israel in these last days. So you can bet that there will be a unity of purpose between the man and the nation. For that matter, we could cite that on December 6, 2017 President Trump in his first term of office recognized Jerusalem as Israel's capital. He confirmed his support by moving the U.S. Embassy there. Many presidents before him talked about it, but never officially recognized Israel's sovereign claim. This actually coincided with a unique alignment of the stars and planets on September 23, 2017 that carried biblical prophetic significance. Revelation 12 highlights. 1 And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. 3 And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his heads. 5 And she brought forth a man-child, who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron, and her child was caught up unto God, and to his throne. 6 And the woman fled into the wilderness, where she hath a place prepared of God, that they should feed her there 1,260 days. The woman being Israel should inspire us to keep watch for more signs, but you don't have to wait too long. September 15, 2020 The Abraham Accords. On this date we saw the makings of a historic prophetic moment when Israel was recognized as a nation, Jerusalem was recognized as its capital, and a peace treaty was signed with key Muslim nations. Treaties were signed with Bahrain, Morocco, Sudan, and the UAE, which opened up trade agreements in the realms of science, art, medicine, and commerce. Israel and Jordan moved towards energy and water agreements under the same covenant. The Abraham Accords have been seeking to reshape the Middle East landscape. They have fostered more attention lately as Biden visited Israel and signed something called the Jerusalem Declaration, which was surprisingly signed on July 14, 2022, exactly 666 days after the signing of the Accords agreement. This declaration was intended to gain U.S. support for Israel in the event of an Iranian nuclear confrontation, contention that seems to be brewing currently in 2025. Jared Kushner was one of the architects of the Abraham Accords with Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia Mohammed bin Salman. The question we should be asking is, does Kushner fill the role of the Antichrist in this end-time script? First of all, he and the Crown Prince accomplished something that no one has been able to do by uniting Israeli and Muslim interests. The Accords downplayed politics and brought key players to the table through commerce. This seems to initially fulfill Daniel 9 verse 27. Daniel 9 verse 27, he will confirm a covenant with many for 1:7. In the middle of the 7, he will put an end to sacrifice and offering. And at the temple he will set up an abomination that causes desolation, until the end that is decreed is poured out on him. And then there is the mention of Trump and his presence in the Accords. Does Trump get the credit for bringing together these ancient sons of Abraham? Israel calls him their Messiah, but of course the Christian should reason that a non-Jesus Messiah is an Antichrist Messiah. Supposedly Obama once carried the title, and even Prince Charles had gained AC consideration. There are other potential candidates that gain an honorable mention. Francis Macron comes up from time to time. We might also expect Turkey's Erdogan to play his part. However, since Israel becomes the focus within end-time prophecy, we can't rule out their embrace of Trump for the time being. Until all is revealed, we will continue to play a game of AC whack-a-mole. I do have one thought, if not mere speculation, regarding AC musical chairs. I'm starting to believe that key players ruling nations of today are the 10 kings of Revelation 17. Revelation 17 verse 12, and the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. This means that each one is a front man for the one who is yet to be revealed. Hence they each represent Antichrist front men, and may even accomplish various atrocities that we have always attributed to being the work of the AC alone. As an example, it turns out that Turkish President Erdogan once went to the temple Hagia Sophia in Istanbul and declared himself God. Or maybe he was just warming up for the main event. Curious minds want to know. Many blessings in Jesus Yeshua.